Good morning, children. Children, as we are doing revision of chapter number 2, so this is revision number 3, and the chapter that revision we are doing is chapter number 2, flowers, fruits and seed. So already we had discussed about the structure of flower, the different parts of the flower, and after that we have studied separately what is the male reproductive organ, that is the stamen, and the female reproductive organ, that is the pistil. It is also called as carpel and it is also called as gynoecium. After that we have studied about the pollination, how the pollination occurs in plants. So we have discussed that the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of the stamen, the anther, this is the anther of the stamen, to the carpel is called pollination. So if it is happening in the same flower, it is called self-pollination, and if it is happening in the different flowers, then it is called cross-pollination. So pollination, because the pollen grain they transfer from one part to another, so pollination it can be done with the help of insects, as well as pollination can be done by wind as well as by water. So that also we had discussed pollination by insects, because insects they help in the process of pollination, because they come and sit on the flowers. Why they sit on the flowers? Because the flowers they are colorful, so that attracts the insects. Insects come and sit on the flower and they suck the juice of the flower, that is called nectar. And after that, that sugary substance, nectar, you can see in the picture, nectar they suck. So when the insect sit on a flower, some pollen grains stuck with the mouth, with the wings or with the foot, and those insects they go and they from one flower they move from one flower to another. Same way they are transferring the pollen grains. So because every sunflower they contain both the sex organs, that is the stamen and carpel, and they transfer the pollen grain from one flower to another, or maybe from in the same flower the pollens gets transferred. So maybe the self pollination occurs, maybe the cross pollination occurs. Now second we had discussed, that is the pollination by wind. So pollination by wind we had discussed that because as the wind blows fast, so the blowing wind carries pollen grains from one flower to other. It helps in pollination. Wind pollination flowers do not have large brightly colored scented petals or nectar, okay, because they do not attract insect. Wind pollinated flower they have anthers that hang outside the flower, and because those anthers means the male part, those are hanging outside the flower, it means they are longer than flower, and they anthers, because they are hanging outside, those flowers they catch the wind, because anthers are outside, so they are light in weight, pollen grains are light in weight, so pollen grains they blow in the wind. So wind pollinated flower they have spreading and feathering stigma. You can see in that picture, these flowers the stamens are outside, so they may contain pollen grains on them. So these pollen grains you can see in the picture, yellow colored pollen grains, so because of the wind they are passing from one flower to another. So this is the pollination by wind. Next is pollination by water, that already we had discussed, that in pollination by water, because the pollen grains they are light in weight, some flowers they are moving up on the surface of the water, so sometimes it happens with the help of water. So the pollens they transfer from one place to another with the water. So this is three types. We can ask you, what is pollination and what are the three agents of pollination? So you should know the agents of pollination are wind, water and insects. Okay. Now after that we had discussed about the fertilization. In fertilization we had discussed that when the stamens, from the stamen the pollen grain comes and they stick with the stigma of the carpel, and then they form a pipe-like structure that is called style, and that style the pollen grains they enter inside the ovary, Now here the fertilization occur as I have shown you in the last video also. One cell from the male and one from the female, they come together and they form a zygote. So zygote is 2n in number because one it got from the mother and second cell it got from the father. Means one from the anther, one from the carpel. So that is called fertilization. After that we had discussed about the parts of a fruit. So children, as I have told you, this is fertilization is occurring inside the ovary. So as we have seen, when there is a formation of fruit, so at that time first there is a formation of flower. First the flower arises, then from that part only the fruit arises. So the trees or the big plants, they have many flowers in them. So after some time the flower shed and that part converts into fruit. So fruits, they contain seed. So seeds, they are the ovules. Okay, they are the ovules. So ovules convert into seed and the fruit, ovary of the pistil, it converts into a fruit. Now fruit, it contains three parts. Okay, fruit contains three parts. So first part is the epicarp, that is also called exocarp. Second is the mesocarp. Third is the endocarp. So as you can see in this picture, outer greenish layer that you are able to see, that is the epicarp, that is the peel of that fruit. Inner yellowish pulpy part, that is the mesocarp. Okay, this pulpy carp is the mesocarp that we eat, and the inner is the endocarp. Okay, which is present outside that seed. So that is the endocarp. Thus, that is the hard innermost layer of the fruit that encloses the seed. Okay, so as I have given you in the last video also the example of mango. So in that mango, when you just eat mango, so what you do, the greenish cover of the mango, we throw that. Pulpy yellowish part we eat, so green cover that we throw, that is the epicarp. Pulpy part that we eat, that is the mesocarp. And inner side the seed is present, seed is covered by some hard layer, that is the endocarp. Now today we are going to study about the dry fruits. So as we have studied about the fruit, so it contains three layers. Now types of fruit, it can be a dry fruit, it can be a fleshy fruit. So dry fruits means which are dry now. Dry means it doesn't contain a pulpy part, and from that pulpy part there is a removal of water already happened. And fleshy part, just like mango, apple, banana, grapes, they all are the pulpy fruits, they contain pulp. Orange is also the example. So dry fruits, these are the fruits, those pericarp is not distinguished into three layers. Suppose you are eating an almond. Okay, almond means badam. Suppose you are eating a cashew nut. Cashew nut means kaju. So if we are eating, suppose you are eating a raisin, raisins means kishmish. So we are not able to see the inner seed because that is only the seed, only it contains the outer covering. So the fruits whose pericarp is not distinguished into three layers, those fruits are called dry fruits. Okay, the entire pericarp become dry at maturity is called dry fruit. Is that clear, children? Now the next topic that we are going to discuss today is about the structure of seed. You can see in the picture structure of seed. So in that structure of seed, as you can see, this is a dicotyledon. Dicotyledon, di means two. Suppose you have wheat, a seed of wheat. If you are trying to divide, suppose this is the seed of wheat. If you try to divide this seed into two parts, is it possible for you to divide? No. So such type of seeds which are not able to divide into two parts, such type of seeds are called monocotyledons. Please remember that word. These are called mono. Mono means one, which are not able to divide into two parts. Okay, and some seeds, suppose rajma, we can take the example of rajma, or you can take the example of chana, chickpea. So what happen when we soak them in the water, these seeds, they are able to divide into two parts. So such type of seeds, they are called dicotyledon. Okay, as you can see, suppose this is the seed of rajma, so it is able to divide into two parts, so that is called dicotyledon. Di means two, which will be able to divide into two parts. So almost the structure is same. Now what happens in that structure of same, the seed, first is the seed coat. Okay, seed coat, what is seed coat? It is the outer covering which protects the seed from temperature, water and damage. Okay, so that is called seed coat. The next part is the helium. Okay, the next part is the helium. You can see from the seed coat has a tiny opening. It is not shown in that, children. So helium is a tiny opening called the helium which absorbs water. Okay, so after that we have cotyledons. What are cotyledons? So what are cotyledons? As I have told you that this seed is able to divide into two parts. So these two parts are called cotyledons. Okay, each, when we remove the seed coat, the single seed is able to divide into two parts. So each part is called cotyledons, and that cotyledons, it contains a growing embryo. You can see a small part is forming from here. So that is the embryo, and it is present inside the seed. Next one is, children, you can see in your book also, already they have given some seeds have only one seed leaf. They are called monocotyledons. For example, wheat, bajra, maize, rice. And seeds having two leaves are called dicotyledon. For example, mango, gram, pea, etc. Okay, now inside, as I have told you, the seed is able to form a plant. So that embryo, that baby plant present inside the seed, that baby plant uses the food till it grows its own roots and leaves, as it is present inside this seed. Okay, so as it will start developing. As we put the seed inside the soil, we water the seed it start developing and it forms a baby plant. So as the seed is able to form leaves and the roots, till that time the plant is absorbing the food that is stored inside the seed. Okay, now when it start its growth, young plants start, it's when it develops the leaf, so it will start doing photosynthesis. Okay, so it forms two part, that is plumule or radicle. Plumule, it forms the upper part, means the shoot, and radicle, it forms the root, means the lower part. Okay, radicle, you can learn by this. R is radicle, so radicle helps in the formation of root, and plumule, this part, it helps in the formation of shoot. You can see here radicle. So from this point the rise of roots will start. This part which is looking like a stem, that will be a hypocotyl, and that upper part which contains the leaf, that is called epicotyl. Okay, so plumule, you have what you have to remember. Plumule, it develops, it is written over here also. Plumule, it develops shoot, and radicle, it develops root. Okay, children, so these are the main important point of this. Now the next topic, the germination of seed, that we are going to take in the next chapter. So please read your chapter carefully and learn, because you have now your test in the month of August. Thank you, children.